Hi guys, I trust that you're feeling well and awesome. Welcome to this video on grade 12 mathematics, and in this video we'll be having a look at synthetic division of polynomials. In the previous video we had a look at how to factorize polynomials using long division, and in the video before that we looked at how to find at least one factor of a cubic expression using the factor theorem. If you have not watched the past two videos, I would highly recommend that you watch them so that you can have a solid understanding of, first of all, how to find the factors of an expression or one factor of the expression. Secondly, the process involved when using long division. I have deliberately chosen exactly the same questions that I used in the video for the factor theorem as well as the video for long division so that you can compare between long division and between long division and synthetic division, which one you would prefer, which one makes more sense to you. But the idea is also to compare the questions and to see that your answers will still be the same regardless of which technique that you use. So without any further ado, let's get cracking with the first question, which is g of x equals x cubed plus 3x squared minus 2x minus 4. So let's go to the writing pad and let's try this out. Right, here we are. And the first thing we need to do is, just like with long division, you have to get a factor. And if you remember from the video on the factor theorem, we got x plus 1 is a factor of this expression. Once we have this factor, something that we did not do with long division is we take the factor and equate it to 0. Then we solve for x. So x is going to be minus 1. What we then need to do is to write an upside down division sign. Then what we're going to do is this x is equals to minus 1. We will write it on the side to the left. What we then do is we write down the coefficients of the cubic expression in the division sign. So the coefficient of x cubed is 1. The coefficient of x squared is 3. The coefficient of x is negative 2. Our constant is negative 4. There we are. So the first thing we do is the 1, which is the first term, will always be dropped. It comes down as it is. Then the next step is you say negative 1 times 1. Negative 1 times 1, that's going to give you negative 1. You put your answer underneath the 3. Then what you do is you add these two. So 3 plus minus 1, that's going to give us positive 2. The next step is you take the positive 2, multiply by negative 1, which will give you negative 2. You write your negative 2 right there. Then you add these two. Negative 2 plus negative 2, that is going to give us negative 4. Lastly, you take the negative 4, multiply by the negative 1. Negative 4 times negative 1, that's going to give us positive 4. You add these two. Negative 4 plus positive 4, that's going to give us 0. When you have 0 here, it is a good sign that life is great. So what we do now is we write down our factor, which we got was x plus 1. Then what we do is these numbers that we got here would be the coefficient of our quadratic expression. So the coefficient of x squared is 1. So this is x squared. The coefficient of x is positive 2. So positive 2x. Our constant will be the negative 4. There we have it. We are done factorizing this expression. Life is great. We cannot factorize the quadratic factor any further, so we are good to go. We are done. I hope that this makes sense. So we have done this question. Life is great. Let's look at the following question where k of x is equals to x cubed minus 4x squared plus x plus 6. So let's go back to the writing pad and let's have a look at this question. So there we are. K of x is equals to x cubed minus 4x squared plus x plus 6. And you would remember from the video on the factor theorem, we also got x plus 1 is a factor here. So we got x plus 1 is a factor. Now once again, what we need to do is we need to take the factor and equate it to 0, then solve for x. X is equals to negative 1. Next step, let's draw an upside down division sign. Then what we do here is we put the negative 1 that we got in as the x value, we put it on the left. We write down the coefficients of our cubic expression. The coefficient of x cubed is 1, coefficient of x squared is negative 4, coefficient of x is positive 1, the constant, that's 6. We take this 1 and we bring it down as it is. Then we say 1 times negative 1. That's going to give us negative 1. We add these two. Negative 4 plus negative 1, that's going to give us negative 5. Then we say negative 5 times negative 1. That's going to give us positive 5. We add these two. 1 plus 5, that's going to give us 6. Then we say 6 times negative 1. That's going to give us negative 6. We add these two. Negative 6 plus 6 gives you 0. And there you are, life is great. So, our factors are x plus 1. Then, the coefficient of x squared is this 1. So, that's just x squared. The coefficient of x is negative 5. X. The constant is positive 6. We can factorize our quadratic expression. So, we're going to have here x plus 1 into x there. And let's open another bracket with an x there. We can put minus 3 there. We can put minus 2 there. There we are. We are good to go. Life is great. Let's look at the next question. So, we are done with this one. The next question says p of x is equals to x cubed plus x squared minus 9x minus 9. Let's go back to our writing pad. And I've already written down the equation there. P of x is equals to x cubed plus x squared minus 9x minus 9. So what we discovered here was that x plus 3 is a factor. Once again, if you do not understand how we found these factors, please go back to the video on the factor theorem. Okay, we take our factor and equate it to 0. We will get x is equals to minus 3. Then what we do is we draw our upside down division sign. We put the minus 3 on the side. Let me write the minus 3 properly. Then inside of our division sign, we put the coefficients of the coefficients of the cubic expression. Coefficient of x cubed is 1. Coefficient of x squared is 1. Coefficient of x is minus 9. Our constant is minus 9. Once again, we take the 1 and drop it as it is. Then we say 1 times negative 3. That's going to give us negative 3. Then we add these two. 1 plus negative 3, that's going to give us negative 2. We say negative 2 times negative 3, that's going to give us positive 6. We then add these two. Negative 9 plus 6, that's going to give us negative 3. Lastly, we say negative 3 times negative 3, that's going to give us positive 9. We add these two. Negative 9 plus 9, that's going to give us 0. We are good to go. Now when writing our factors, we are going to have, our first factor was x plus 3, then the coefficients. These terms here would be the coefficients of our quadratic factor. Coefficient of x squared, that's just going to be 1. Coefficient of x is negative 2. The constant is going to be minus 3. We can further factorize our quadratic factor. So we can have our x plus 3 there. There's nothing wrong there. Life is great. Then we open two sets of brackets. This is x here. This is x here. I can put a 3 there. I can put a 1. This is negative. This is positive. There we are. We are done factorizing it. So we are done with the third question. Let's have a look at the last and final question. Well, the last question. So to do this, let's go back to our writing pad, and I've already written down the question. There the question is, okay, this is 4x. I forgot to put the plus 16 there. Right. If you could remember from the previous two videos, we got x plus 2 is a factor. Or x plus 2 was one of the factors that we got. So then what we need to do is, we take our factor and equate it to 0. We will get x is equals to negative 2. Once again, let's write down the upside down division sign. We are going to put negative 2 there. Coefficients of our cubic expression will be inside of the division sign. Coefficient of x cubed is 1. Coefficient of x squared is minus 4. Coefficient of x is minus 4. Constant is positive 16. We take the 1 and we drop it. Then we say 1 times negative 2. That's going to give us negative 2. Negative 4 plus minus 2, that's going to give us negative 6. We say negative 6 times negative 2. That's going to give us positive 12. We add these two. Negative 4 plus 12, that's going to give us positive 8. Then we say positive 8 times negative 2, that's going to give us negative 16. We add these two. 16 minus 16 gives us 0. Life is great. Let's write down our factors. So we have x plus 2 is one of our factors. We have the coefficient of x squared, it's 1. Coefficient of x is minus 6. The constant is positive 8. We can further factorize this. We've got x plus 2 there. Then we've got two sets of brackets here. This is x, this is x. This is going to be negative, this is negative. I can put a 4 there and put a 2 there. There we are done factorizing the expression. Life is great. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it made sense to you, and I hope now that you've got a clear picture with regards to how synthetic division and long division works, and that you can make a choice as to which one you want to use. And you can also alternate, hopefully, between the two to say, okay, today I feel like using synthetic division. For this question, the next question I use long division. I would suggest that you practice both, in as much as you might feel like synthetic division is easier. Just for the benefit of it, just for the brain exercise, practice long division and synthetic division. In your exam, you will not necessarily be explicitly asked to use synthetic or long division. You could choose any of the two. But as I've mentioned, just as a suggestion, to do some brain exercise, do the both of them. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope it's making sense to you. If you do like the video, please give us a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel. Click on the bell icon so that you will always receive an update every time we have a new video. Also, please don't be selfish. Please share the video with other people so that everybody can benefit from the knowledge that you're learning. Until we meet again, have a blessed day and a blessed rest of your week. Ciao.